Tom Whalen sitting in for Aaron Rand this afternoon on Montreal Now, and that music means just one thing. Our good friend James Mennie from the Gazette is on the line. Good afternoon, James.
How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Are you preparing for the impending apocalypse with the ice?
As I was just mentioning to our beautiful and talented producer, Alice Martin, yes, but you know what? And I mean, I'm not trying to make light of this. All I'm saying is, with everything that we've been hearing, there better be an apocalypse tomorrow, because the bottom line, we kind of chuckle, but the fact is, you and I are in the business of informing people. You know, no end of story. I mean, I understand that our business has changed, that, we're looking to engage in whatever, and we're doing a great job. And of course, CJAD Stormwatch is a model of its kind when it comes to keeping people informed. But the idea that, now we have the city saying, do this and do it. I mean, I understand that it is necessary to do this. I understand that, better safe than sorry. But there have been occasions in the past, and even in the recent past, where what has been said, we got 25 inches, and you end up getting like 5 centimeters of snow.
Yeah.
If this happens, it happens. For a lot of our listeners out there who were there for the only ice storm, as far as I'm concerned, that matters, and remember those days, it's like, the idea that, I don't know, was there some attempt to recreate this? I don't know what's going on. But anyway, all I'm saying is, let's hope that it doesn't happen. Let's hope that I'm right, and none of this is necessary, and that, we're gonna wind up saying, yeesh, maybe Environment Canada should take a chill pill every now and then. But all that said, I have to share my misgivings with you.
I'm looking at the language, though, in the Environment Canada warning, and there's language in there that as you well know, words matter, and there's language in there that I have never seen before.
Weaselly language, Tom?
I'm sorry?
Weaselly language?
Well, I don't know about weaselly, but it catches your eye. Put it that way.
Okay. Well, you know what? I mean, like I say, better safe than sorry. But once again, there is a cost in credibility, and it's something that we should be aware of. And I'm not for a second taking away anything from anybody who's involved in these measures. The city is doing its due diligence, and you know what? In this day and age, given the kind of weather that we have seen just in the last 10 years, which nobody would have thought was going to be, so-called normal or par for the course before then, it could happen. But when I guess it's, and I've always said, I've told our good friend Trudy too, our old rule of thumb is, if you really want to have the most accurate weather report, stick your face out the window.
Well,
right?
Yeah, of course.
But the thing is, if you go into it and it does not live up to the billing, you got a problem. As far as I'm concerned, you got a problem, and we shouldn't be in that situation. And I'm once again, I'm not taking a swing at Environment Canada either, but let's face it. I mean, these are times when credibility is an issue for our particular line of work.
Yep.
And I really, really think that let's hope they're on the money. That's all. I'll leave it there. But I mean, and once again, I hope I am absolutely wrong, and all of this is justified. But I got to tell you, and it also seems, I don't know, there's that sense of urgency. Perhaps what you're referring to when you talk about that language that you're seeing, that kind of came in with this color-coded alert system too. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Well, let's hope it's not like the old boy who cried wolf fable.
Absolutely, and this is the thing. We want to help. We want to. This is the whole thing. In the end, too, Tom. It doesn't matter what you got as long as you got it right.
Right. Exactly. That's. I had an old news director who taught me that. He said, "I don't care who gets it first. I care who gets it right."
Absolutely.
Anyhow, speaking of getting things right, it seems, Mr. Mennie, once again, that provincial taxpayers are going to be bribed with their own money.
Yes, and when I wrote that to you, Tom, at first it was just Bernard Drainville reverting to one of the finest traditions of Quebec politics, is that you bribe, when you're running for office, you bribe people, that taxpayers, with their own money. And in this particular instance, he was saying, well, this is crazy, this craziness with Trump and the gas prices, and because we have our what is erroneously referred to in Quebec's jurisdiction as a carbon tax, but we do have a tax. We're part of a cap and trade system, and that's why we're paying more for gas. And he's saying, well, no, because if it goes up, if the price goes up, then guess what? The Quebec government makes out like a bandit. So I'm going to find a way to get that money back to Quebec taxpayers, which is like, okay. We'll see what happens. Check, money order, I don't know. But then Christine Sachette comes up and she goes, no, don't be so. If we're going to give money back, we'll give it back in registration fees, which of course most of our listeners know have gone through the roof to fund the chronically underfunded public transit systems here in Quebec. But one way or another, folks, lest we forget, it's your money. So before anybody turns around and starts freaking out over, how great a deal this is or whatever, just remember, it may be a great spread that they're offering you at that restaurant, my friends, but guess what? You're paying the bill. So just stay calm.
Bringing down the price of something that's already overpriced is not giving you your money back. I know,
but this is, you know what? And you know what? I really think people have got that part figured out now. I mean, I get a little bit ornery when I see that kind of thing going on, when I see that kind of, political theater being played out, because maybe that would have worked back in the day. When I say back in the day, I'm talking maybe 20, 30 years ago, when people weren't doing that math. It's amazing how well-informed people have become about how how their tax system works, and the fact that we're seeing this actually, sort of like mentioned by politicians and mentioned with a straight face. I don't know. You'd think they'd find a new way to kind of bamboozle us, but apparently that hasn't happened yet.
Well, you have to be better informed. It's just, there's no two ways about it. If if you want to hold a politician to account.
And this, you raised an interesting point, though, John, because the thing is, we always say, and it's almost become so much part of the vernacular. It's like, well, affordability is the number one issue. Yeah, and you know what? Because it is, people are doing their homework. They're thinking twice before they spend money, before some politician makes them an offer that they think is the biggest thing since sliced bread. They're realizing, they're understanding finally how sausages are made, and you trifle with that credibility at your own peril, as far as I'm concerned.
I'll put this out there, and hopefully somebody in Quebec City is listening. I would prefer my rebate in cash, preferably U.S. cash. Thank you very much.
Well, you never know. Be careful what you wish for, Tom.
Oh, James. Well, it's always a pleasure talking to you, James, and I appreciate you taking the time once again today, and get back to work.
iHeartRadio is throwing it back.
2010s, the decade.
To the days of huge hits and unforgettable anthems. A non-stop stream of the biggest and best.
Drake, Rihanna, Beyonce, Katy, Gaga, The Weeknd.
And more. All your decade-defining favorites all in one place.
Hi, it's Katy Perry.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
This is Kesha.
Find 2010's The Decade on the free iHeartRadio app. Preset the station so it's always one tap away.